Hey everyone, I'm Jason, and this is your commentary on Exodus chapter 19. Exactly 3 months after the people of Israel left Egypt, they came to the desert of Sinai. After they started out from Rephidim, they entered the desert of Sinai. They camped there, in the desert, in front of the mountain. Now, this is believed to be the same mountain where Moses first met God with the fiery bush. Then Moses went up to God. The Lord called out to him from the mountain. He said, "Here's what I want you to say to my people who came from Jacob's family. Tell the Israelites, you have seen for yourself what I did to Egypt. You saw how I carried you on the wings of eagles and brought you to myself. Now obey me completely. Keep my covenant. If you do, then out of all of the nations you will be my special treasure. The whole earth is mine, but you will be a kingdom of priests to serve me. You will be my holy nation." That is what you must tell the Israelites. So Moses went back. He sent for the elders of the people. He explained to them everything the Lord had commanded him to say. All of the people answered together. They said, "We will do everything the Lord has said." So Moses brought their answer back to the Lord. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "I am going to come to you in a thick cloud. The people will hear me speaking with you. They will always put their trust in you." Then Moses told the Lord what the people had said. The Lord said to Moses, "Go to the people. Today and tomorrow set them apart for me. Have them wash their clothes. Have the people ready by the 3rd day. On that day I will come down on Mount Sinai. Everyone will see it. Put limits for the people around the mountain. Tell them, be careful that you do not go up the mountain. Do not even touch the foot of it. You can be sure that all who touch the mountain will be put to death. Do not lay a hand on any of them. Kill them with stones or shoot them with arrows. Whether they are people or animals, do not let them live. They may go up to the mountain only when the ram's horn gives out a long blast." Okay, so this may seem a little bit harsh. Like if a person just touches the mountain, then it means that they have to die. What we don't understand is this is actually a graver sin than just touching the mountain. They put up barriers. That's what the limits were. So you couldn't accidentally go over there. You'd have to purposely do it. God hasn't really given them any commands yet at this point. He says, don't touch the mountain. And it's up to the people to respect God enough to obey Him. Not to let their curiosity get the better of them, that they can sneak up close to it. The real sin here is irreverence towards God. It means that they have no respect, that they're disobeying. God hasn't even given them a difficult thing to do. He just says, don't go up to the mountain. If they don't respect God enough to obey Him right now, then they're not ready for the 10 Commandments that He's about to give them, or the rest of the law that He's about to give them. This is, after all, God, who brought them out of Egypt, who has delivered them, who is about to come down before them to speak directly with Moses and to be in their presence. This is the Almighty God, and the minimum that He's asking of them right now is just to obey and stay on the other side of the boundaries that He's setting up. Moses went down the mountain to the people. After he set them apart for the Lord, they washed their clothes. Then he spoke to the people. He said, "Get ready for the 3rd day. Don't make love." Now the translation here says don't make love. What he's saying is, wash your clothes and abstain for just a couple of days in order to get your mind right about meeting God. On the morning of the 3rd day, there was thunder and lightning. A thick cloud covered the mountain. A trumpet gave out a very loud blast. Everyone in the camp trembled with fear. Now, I've always found this passage to be very entertaining. You have the entire group of the Israelites. And God, well, He's speaking to Moses, but He didn't speak to anyone else. So even if you had like musicians in the camp, none of them knew what God wanted. So they weren't prepared to make a loud trumpet blast. So then where's this trumpet blast coming from? My belief is that in addition to the thunder, the lightning, and the thick cloud that came down, God or one of his angels is up there just playing the trumpet as well to let everyone know that God is about to approach. And it says, everyone in the camp trembled with fear. I'd be trembling with fear too. Then Moses led the people out of the camp to meet with God. They stood at the foot of the mountain. Smoke covered Mount Sinai because the Lord came down on it in fire. The smoke rose up from it like smoke from a furnace. The whole mountain trembled and shook. The sound of the trumpet got louder and louder. Then Moses spoke, and the voice of God answered him. The Lord came down to the top of Mount Sinai. He told Moses to come to the top of the mountain. So Moses went up. The Lord said to him, "Go down and warn the people. They must not force their way through to see me. If they do, many of them will die. The priests approach me when they serve me, but even they must set themselves apart for me. If they do not, my anger will break out against them." Moses said to the Lord, "The people can't come up Mount Sinai. You yourself warned us. You said, 'Put limits around the mountain. Set it apart as holy.'" Then the Lord replied, "Go down. Bring Aaron up with you. But the priests and the people must not force their way through. They must not come up to me. If they do, my anger will break out against them." So Moses went down to the people and told them. Now if you look here, I think Moses went up and down 4 times. At this point in time, he's an elderly man. He's in his 80s. And it's just the constant up and down the mountain, relaying the messages between God and the people. Now, in this particular situation, Moses is a foreshadow of Christ, a mediator on one hand and a high priest on the other, that he bridges the communication between a holy God who cannot be approached and all of us down here. Now, God asked them to clean themselves, to wash their clothes, and to abstain just for a couple of days. Imagine that you're about to go in for an interview for a job. You're going to see the boss. You want to put on your best clothes because you respect the boss enough. Now, we're not just going for a normal position here. God has promised the Israelites that they will be a kingdom of priests to serve him, and they will be a holy nation. So the position that they're going for is really high. And right now, God's just asking that they don't go on the mountain, that they cleanse themselves, and that they abstain from sex just for a couple of days in order to prepare their heart for meeting God. Well, that's it for commentary on Exodus chapter 19. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time.